Oh, oh God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Gabester here. This is the normal DPS guide for the Kor'kron Dark Shaman fight in Siege of Orgrimmar. Feel free to click on the annotations to check out any other video for this encounter. And let's get started. So the first thing to discuss is avoidable damage on this fight, because there's a lot of stuff going on and it's kind of chaotic. The Earthbreaker Haromm boss has a few abilities. The first is Foul Stream. You can see there was a green marker on me, very obvious when I was targeted by that. So if you get targeted, you have about 4 or 5 seconds before a stream of bad nature will shoot out from Haromm toward your location and hit you along with anyone else in front of him. So the best thing you can do when you're targeted is to run toward Haromm and kind of to the side of him. That way, no one else in the raid is forced to sidestep that stream attack if possible. The other thing from him that you can avoid is the Ashen Wall. This is cast while he's below 50% health. And if you look on the right of the screen, there should be a wall popping up here momentarily as he pushes over that threshold. And here it comes. There it is. So you can see it's a wall of these little rock elementals. They basically just stand still while they're up for a minute duration before they despawn. And if you get within melee range, they will attack you a little bit. They kind of like to do tickle fights. So for that reason, just stay away from them. And that's it. Pretty easy to avoid that. The last thing I should mention for Haromm, it's not necessarily avoidable damage, but if he applies the Toxic Mist debuff to you, you can help out your healers by using a personal damage reduction cooldown when that is applied. The damage increases over time, so for the last 10 seconds of it or so, that's when you'll take the most damage, and that's when it would be best to use a cooldown if you have one available. Now, avoiding damage for Wavebinder Karkris is a lot more annoying. She has a lot more abilities, and they're much more difficult to deal with. The first of which she gains at 85% health and below, and that's Toxic Storm. You can see the purple cloud spinning around the room. These will spawn on random player locations, so if one spawns on you, obviously move out of it. It also will create tornadoes that move slowly around the room, and again, if they hit you, they do damage and knock you away, so avoid those as well. The next ability she casts is Foul Geyser. This is at 65% health and below, and this will create a series of adds that will spawn near a melee player close to Karkris. Usually this will be the tank that's on her. Now, this is probably the most important ability to handle properly, so I'll talk about it in a moment. But in terms of avoidable damage, do not get in melee range of the slime. If you do, they'll do 100,000 damage per second per slime near you. So obviously that's bad. So stay at range from them if possible, even if you're a melee. The last ability that she does to avoid is that huge red circle. This is pretty obvious. They couldn't make it more obvious if they tried. It deals massive damage if you're in the center of it, but more importantly, it deals damage to everyone, even if you're outside it when it explodes. So a minor personal cooldown will help when that explosion goes off. Now, the good news is that the bosses share health in this fight, so in terms of which boss to attack, it doesn't matter. That said, as is usually the case, adds take precedence over the bosses in every case here. So at the start of the fight, when the 2 dogs are active, make sure you kill those quickly because they're stacking a bleed on the tanks, and you want to get rid of that quickly. Other than that, the foul slime spawns are the most important thing you can attack during this fight. So if there are any active at all, kill them. The only exception being if you are a melee DPS, obviously you cannot get in melee range of them or you risk dying very quickly. So this is generally something that will be left up to your ranged DPS players. Other than that, feel free to dot up both bosses if you have such abilities, or just attack whichever is more appropriate. Generally speaking, melee will want to attack Haromm because the foul slime kind of keeps you away from Karkris oftentimes. And that's it. So that is the normal DPS tips and guide for Kor'kron Dark Shaman. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.